What's this? Somebody's personal order looks like.
One moment. Okay, we're in Matthew 26, starting at 47. And we're going to read 7 verses each, okay?
God.
And while he spake, to Judas, one of the 12 came. With him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, Whosoever I shall kiss, the same is he. Hold fast. And forthwith he came to Yeshua, Jesus, and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. And Yeshua, whom most called Jesus, said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Jesus, Yeshua, and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Yeshua stretched out his hand, and drew his sword, and struck a servant of the high priest, and smote off his ear. Then Yeshua said unto him, Put up again thy sword unto his place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. The 53rd verse. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So it wasn't about picking up the sword. Christ, he says, you don't have to defend me. Okay? I can pray to the Father right now, and 5 legions, which are thousands of angels, 12,000 angels will come in the presence to defend me. Right?
God.
Go ahead, lawyer.
Matthew 26, verse 54.
7 verses, right?
God. But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled, that thus it must be? In that same hour said Yeshua to the multitudes, Are ye come out as thieves, or against as a thief with swords and staves, for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that had laid hold on Yeshua led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in, and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yeshua, to put him to death. But found none, yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses.
Seven verses.
Matthew 26, verse 61.
Matthew 26 and 51, right?
61.
61. Okay, go ahead.
And said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of the Most High, and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Yeshua held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living power, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of the Most High. Yeshua saith unto him, Thou hast said, Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall you see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. What think ye? They answered and said, He is guilty of death. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands, saying, Prophesy unto us, thou Christ, who is he that smote thee?
Verse 69. Now Peter sat without the palace, and the damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also was with Yeshua of Galilee. And he denied before all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was gone into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them, What were thee? What that were there? This fellow was also with Yeshua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I did not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said to Peter, Surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech betrayed thee. Then began he to curse and swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Yeshua, which said unto him before the cock crew, Thou shalt deny me thrice, and went out and wept bitterly.
The next verse too, right? One more verse. 27 and 1.
Mhm.
Yeah, 27 and 1.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 1. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Yeshua to put him to death.
Give it to Yahweh, Diane. Yeah, you can go around this way. That's good. That's fine. Go ahead. 7 verses here.
And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, I have sinned in that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, What is that to us? See thou to that. And he had cast down the pieces of silver in the temple, and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, It is not lawful to put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel, and brought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day.
One more. Okay, that's 8, right? Okay.
Verse 9. Then were fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value. And they gave them for the potter's field as the Lord appointed them. And Yeshua stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And Yeshua said unto him, Thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, Hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered them to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would, and they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, Whom will ye that I release unto you? Barabbas or Yeshua, which is called Christ?
7 verses.
Matthew chapter.
It's 27:19 through 26.
27, verse 18. For he knew for envy they had delivered him. When he was sat down on the judgment seat, his wife sent unto him, saying, Have thou nothing to do with that just man? For I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Christ. The governor answered and said unto them, Whether of the twine will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate said unto them, What shall I do then with Yeshua, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, Let him be crucified. And the governor said, Why, what evil have he done? But they cried out the more, saying, Let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing,
Pilate. When Pilate saw.
when Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but rather a atonement was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this person. See it to it. Then answered all the people and said, His blood be on us and on our children.
You at 26, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Yeshua, he delivered him to be crucified. 27. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yeshua into the common hall, and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. Verse 29. When he had plaited a crown,
Platted.
when he had platted a crown of thorns, he put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and he bowed the knee before him, and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. Verse 30. And they spit upon him, and took the reed and smote him on the head. 31. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him, and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. 32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, having they compelled to bear his cross. 33. And when they were come unto a place called
Golgotha.
that is to say, the place of his skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. But when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. In verse 35, it says.
Go ahead, do one more.
Verse 35. And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet. They parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots.
Okay. Go ahead, Malak.
Verse 36. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Yeshua, the King of the Jews. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and the other on the left. And they passed by, reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of the Most High, come down from the cross. Likewise, also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and elders said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the king of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in the Most High. Let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of the Most High.
Verse 44. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Yeshua cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama
Sabachthani.
sabachthani. That is to say, my power, why have thou forsaken me? Verse 47. Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, This man calleth for Elias, and straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave it him to drink. Verse 49. And the rest said, Let be, let us see whether Elias will come to save him. And Yeshua, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. Verse 51. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent, and the graves were open, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and he went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now when the centurion and that they were with him watching Yeshua saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly this was the Son of the Most High. And many women were there, beholding afar off, which followed Yeshua from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary the mother of James, and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. When the even was come, there came a rich man from
Arimathea.
Named Joseph, which also himself was Yeshua's disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Yeshua. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone over the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day, that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees came together unto Pilate, saying, Sir, we remembered that the deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days, I will arise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure unto the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, Ye have a watch, and go your way. Make it as sure as ye can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch.
Matthew 28 and 1. And in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. We know this is talking about between Sabbaths when you look at the Greek. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment was as white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Yeshua which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, and as he said, come see the place where the Lord lay. Let's go to Corinthians 5. We're going into Corinthians 5. We're just going to do bread and wine real quick and prepare for the feast. Now, it's important we read that to understand what he went through on the Passover. I know we go into the Passover of Moses and how our people were delivered. But now we must remember how Christ fulfilled the Passover, because that was actually a similitude to what Christ would fulfill for us going forward. This prepared the new kingdom, and as we see, the temple was rent in two. Now that the temple was rent in two after Christ's crucifixion, Christ broke the temple. When he began, once he died, he began his fight into the realm of darkness, and he began to fight in realms. And the temple was destroyed. The temple is where the Pharisees and scribes gained their power over us. So Christ destroyed that temple, and no more could anyone get to the Father through the old way going forward. So the only people that will go into Christ's kingdom or receive his temple will be those who are washed clean and walk in the Spirit of Christ going forward. So when the Bible says that the law was our schoolmaster to bring us to Christ, yes, we follow the law and look to the law, but that's just the beginning. It's now no longer through the temple. It's through Christ now, and that's one thing the Christian churches have right. So when they see us talk about the law, and don't see the Spirit of Christ, it confuses them. Because what good is the law if we don't treat each other right and follow Christ? The law was made so that we could follow Christ and make it to the new kingdom that's coming into this earth. And that's what the Gathering of Christ Church is preparing for. Right? Now let's read the communion scripture in Corinthians 5, and let's drink bread and wine. 1 Corinthians, yeah. 1 Corinthians 11, yeah, excuse me. Corinthians 5 is in my mind from last night. And then after that, I'm going to actually do a hymn like was done on Passover night. And then we're going to prepare. We're going to have some food. We're going to have drink. We're going to have rapayala. We're going to have the brothers. Anything y'all want to sing after the food, we're going to have a full celebration to the Most High. And if it's something you want to say in your dedication to the Most High and express what the Most High means to you, there's no better night than tonight. Where are we, Lord? Okay, it's 17th verse, right? I'm at 1 Corinthians 11. We're going to start at 17. Now in this that I declare unto you, I praise ye not, that ye come together, not for the better, but for the worse. Now, when he says we come together not for the better, but the worse, that's what Paul was saying, because usually people like to come together when everything is fine and they feel everything is in the spirit and all that. But sometimes you have to come together even when you feel in a certain type of way. Because that's the healing that begins when two or more gather together, and Satan is trying to keep us away from each other. So don't come together just because everything is good. Come together when things are not right, when you're feeling low, when you're feeling down, still come together. Don't care about that, because Satan wants to keep you alone, to mess with your mind and have you question your walk. Right? I'm in the 18th verse. But first of all, when you come together in the church, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it. For there must be also heresies among you. So in a church, you're going to always have division or heresies, because that's how the Most High try the people in the church, to see who's going to sustain the storm, who's going to weather the storm and get through these things. For there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. When you come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper, for in eating everyone taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry and another is drunken. So to let you know, it's not a party. I know some people, and that's why Paul was writing this in Corinthians, because some people, Hebrews, would go to Passover for a party. They would go to drink and get drunk, and they look no different than the world when they came together. Vomiting and driving drunk and all that. The Passover is not for that. And these are the things that happen. And Paul was, and it's nothing new. It happened during the time of Paul. People would come together for the party. And then forget, don't even read why they're actually at the ceremony. It's because of what Christ did for us, what he went through, being spit on, given gall, which is urine, and vinegar to drink, being beat. You understand? These are the things you must remember that was done against a total innocent man, and knew that he had the power to call the angels to destroy the Roman Empire all at once, and took it for all of us. That's what we should be coming together for. Remember that our problems are not that deep compared to what Christ went through for us. And our issues are not that deep. So it says here, 22, what? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of the Most High, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. For I have received of the Most High, of Yeshua, that which also I delivered unto you, that Yeshua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, the Wala Ahaya, he broke it and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. Let's get some bread. Thank you. You got your wine? Go. After the same manner also, he took the cup which he had supped, saying, this is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye, as often as you drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat the bread and drink this cup of the Most High unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. Now, why does it say that based on what we broke down last night? Because Judas ate that bread and drunk that cup unworthily. He had hatred and venom and malice in his heart. with his brothers on a holy night. He should have settled those things before the communion. And that's why from communion to communion, you're going to have issues. That's why Paul said, why don't come together just for the good, but for the worse. But it's our job to make sure Judas is not in us from communion to communion. Okay? That something or an offense done happen. We have to examine ourselves to make sure we're not feeling a certain type of way before we sup with our brothers, because that's what it's talking about. You handle your issues, and then you come in peace on the Most High's day, so his day can be peace. Right? But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the Lord. So when there is sicknesses, that's showing that it should be some level of examination amongst all of us. Wherefore, my brethren, when you come together to eat, tarry one for another. That means wait, because sometimes we're late. So that's what it means, tarry one for another. Because some people are like, man, we should have been here. But we have to wait for our brothers and sisters because sometimes we're late. Sometimes, the majority of the time we're late, right? But that's why Paul was saying in scriptures, wait for your brother or sister. Sometimes people be straggling along and because I don't even know if I want to, so that's what was going on. Oh my goodness, I wonder, some people wonder, am I dressed right or whatever the case is. But the Bible says we must wait for our brothers, tarry for them, wait for them. As if this was us. When Paul said, to wait for your people, who's always late? That's Israel, right? It says, tarry one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home. So that means don't come here strictly for the meal, because it's not about that. We have a regular meal and festivities on our own. Even though we're going to have a good time, we must keep focused that this is when Christ was crucified. You understand? We have to keep that focus and use that as momentum throughout the year. So when the Most High gave us the schedules for the Sabbaths and all that, and when Christ was crucified, as you can see when it gets dark, this is when Christ gave up the ghost and began his battle against another realm. To the point darkness came on the earth, and Rome was dark for 3 days straight. It was total darkness and no light, no sun in Rome. For 3 days, Christ was actually going into hell, taking the power and keys so that he could release the souls. Before he died, he said, Father, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? A lot of people thought that he was defeated. He knew that Satan was lurking in the realm, listening to him, and he thought that Christ gave up. Went into Hades and told hell to prepare to keep him. So that's why he said that. Satan went into hell and said, Hades, we can keep him here. If we bound him here, I'll keep the power of this earth and this realm. And no sooner as Satan went down there, Christ got full power in a place where there's no space or time, and broke the temple and began to destroy in full power in a different realm. And that's why the temple split in two. And everybody looked around and they were scared. An earthquake happened. Christ got full power at that moment. He was in his total spirit. So when I see Christians look at Christ as if he's dead and showing Cesar Borgia all bloodied up, that's not the Christ we're talking about. Christ had full power once he left this shell. and began to fight demons and fallen angels in another realm, and took full power. Then he went down into hell and preached to the souls there, telling them what he's going to do to them at the end of his realm once he get power. And then told the righteous in the bosom of Abraham, prepare yourself, I'm going to release you. You understand? I'm going to release you for your righteousness. And took full, and Hades itself is a spirit. And he told Hades, I have the keys, I have the power. Okay? And I'm going to totally command you to release souls when it's time. And the proof of that, what happened? The dead came up to the earth to show you he had the power of hell, because the dead